Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another deck profile update for you guys. Now, I actually kind of wanted to wait till after the ban list to see if it would affect this deck, but honestly I feel like this deck is okay. It doesn't really need to be touched even when the ban list hits, so nothing in this deck should be hit, so yeah. So anyway, I'm bringing you guys back my zombie deck, only this time it's going to be like my own personal build, the way I kind of wanted to build it the first time. The first time I built it was mainly just as a low budget option, with a little less hand traps and just focusing more towards the zombie archetype. But this time it's more on a competitive level. I've done a lot of tests on this. It's really solid. It's very consistent, and zombies is easily like one of the best archetypes because it's so splashable. But yeah, so let me go and show you what I got, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this. So this is primarily still using support from the new structure deck, Zombie Horde. So if you haven't picked those up, definitely pick them up. It's a great structure deck. Got a lot of great reprints and everything. And the new support's just crazy good. So starting off, you're going to be playing the new Doom King Baladrock. This guy's great. Once per chain, you can use one of his two effects. Whenever a zombie monster activates an effect, you can either negate that effect or banish one monster on the field or in the graveyard. And note that does not target, so it's a good way to remove any problematic monsters. And yeah, he's just really solid, and he's a 28k body. And his standby phase effect is great, so if he's in your graveyard and there's a field spell, it doesn't have to be Zombie World specifically. A lot of people think it does have to be Zombie World, but it's not. As long as there's a field spell on either player's side of the field, you can special summon him back in face-up defense mode. So that's why he's so good. Next up, playing 2 copies of Necroworld Banshee. I was running it at 3 at first, but I decided to bump it down to 2, mainly because I have more access to, plenty of access to Zombie World with terraforming as well, so I felt like Necroworld Banshee at 2 is just fine. This card has a great quick effect where you can banish it from the field or in the graveyard and play Zombie World directly from your deck. And also, while this card is face up on the field, neither player can target Zombie World or destroy it with card effects. So it's a great way to protect your Zombie World and consistently get it out on the field. Next up, only playing 2 copies of Globe Bloom. I was running it at 3 as well, but bumped it down to 2 just because I don't want to see it too often, because it does have a heavy restriction where if you banish it if it's sent to the graveyard and you banish it, you can special summon, or you can add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand, or if Zombie World's out on the field, you can special summon it instead. But it restricts you from special summoning anything else from your, for the duration of the turn, except zombie monsters. And I normally, like, the way I use this card is, like, I usually, like, start setting up my board with extra deck monsters first. Like, extend my plays a little bit more, and then send Globe Bloom last of, whenever I'm setting up. That way I have, like, everything I need first, because, like, not everything in my extra deck is zombie type, and there are certain cards I need as extenders, just to get me started, So Globe Bloom is a great card. It's really powerful, but again, 2 should be more than enough. Moving on, playing 3 copies of Shiranui Solitaire. Pretty standard, you definitely want to tribute this card because this deck is synchro based, and this card allows you to special summon 1 zombie type tuner with 0 defense, and we have quite a few targets for that. And another card to go with our Shiranui core is Shiranui Spirit Master. Shiranui Solitaire recycles their Spirit Master if this card is already banished. And Spirit Master, when it's banished, you get to pop 1 Speller Trap, or not 1 Speller Trap, pop 1 card your opponent controls. So it's a great card. And also, if this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Shiranui monster except itself. So brings out our Solitaire consistently. And Shiranui is basically our one turn Cyframe Lord Omega. So you definitely want to play that for some added consistency. Alright, so our primary Shiranui target is going to be Unizombie. I'm only playing it at 2 though. 3 got a little cloggy, but it is one of your best opening cards too, because you can discard 1 card to send Shiranui Solitaire to the grave, or Mizuki. You generally want to get like one or the other to the grave. That way you can get your Cyframe Lord Omega, or if you want to go into the new Zombie Necro Dragon, which is really good. So yeah, the Unizombie is just a good way to manipulate and pitch away. Well, manipulate levels and then pitch away zombies. Next up, playing, of course, 3 Mizuki. Definitely want to get this to the graveyard as quickly as possible. It's your Monster Reborn. 2 Gozuki, just to even out the Unizombie play. But it's another Foolish Burial card for me. And yeah, Gozuki is pretty standard. I don't like to run it at 3. I don't feel 3 is needed. 2 should be enough. And yeah, that's it. For the hand traps, playing one of them is a pseudo hand trap rather, but it's really powerful because it's generic for the zombie archetype. 2 copies of Fraulein. This card just beefs up your zombie monsters, and just by paying life points, and it's a good way, and it also helps, get into my level 8 synchro plays as well. 2 Ash Blossom, you know, pretty standard. Zombie type 2, so it's pretty good. And 2 Joel Lockbird just to deal with Danger FTK, which might die after the ban list regardless anyway, but Joel Lockbird still finds its way into the meta, so it's a good way to basically just stop any like search heavy decks like Sky Strikers. And Joel Lockbird is like, it's, to me, it's always going to be one of the best hand traps in the world. So, but that's just my personal opinion. And that's it for the monsters. Go and move on to the spells. Playing 3 Zombie World, of course, you definitely want to get this out. This stops a lot of decks. Thunder Dragons, Goki, Dark Warrior, like, because Zombie World turns everything into zombies and they can't make a sold. So yeah, it's just a good way, you know, just to dish out extra pain to your opponent. Got 2 Terraforming to search it out. 2 Called by the Grave. I don't want to deal with hand traps, so kind of want to stop them as quick as I can. 2 Burial from a Different Dimensions. You can run it at 3 if you choose to. I mean, now that it is at 3, I just only choose 2 because, like, I found it's not too, I wouldn't call it cloggy, but it's just, I felt like just 2 because I already have Mizuki as my extender, and I already can fill up, my deck's built to fill up boards, basically, and just kind of make it to the point where it's nearly unbreakable. So that's usually how I like to play it. For the 1-ofs, 1 for 1, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, and Soul Charge, because this deck's built to go first and second, so Soul Charge is just a good, if I open up with this card, you know, you're most likely going to win with this deck. I don't like Book of Life too much, mainly because I already have plenty of banishment with Battle Drop, so that's why I don't really focus on Book of Life that much. But you can run it if you choose to, that's really up to you guys. And the only traps I'm running is 3 copies of Needlebug Nest. This card is absolutely broken in this deck, because it mills you everything you need into the graveyard, like Mizukis, your Glow Blooms, your Banshees, your Baladrox. Like, everything you need needs to hit the graveyard as soon as you can, so Needlebug Nest is a good way to, you know, deal with that issue. Alright, so moving on to the extra deck. Playing 2 Suckers, mainly because it's my Stormforth, basically, and it also acts as a Monster Reborn on itself, and if a zombie monster is special summon, you can draw 1 card. 1 Link Rebo, because, you know, Glow Bloom is level 1. For the Nightmares, playing 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix. I don't have Unicorn yet again, so I'm still trying to get one, but for now, still playing Trigate Wizard. And of course, since everything's zombie, might as well play Summon Sorceress. Can get a lot of plays off this card, just by itself. 1 Firewall Dragon, Saryuja Skuldred, and lastly, one of my personal favorite Link 4s, Topologic Bomber Dragon. Really easy to bring out, and plus, to use its effect is not hard at all. You could basically just nuke the board. Well, mainly the main monster zones, basically. And then, of course, it deals damage to whenever it battles and stuff like that, so yeah, it's a really strong card. I know I don't have the Borals yet, but I think Topologic Bomber Dragon is still a good substitute. For the Synchros, this one actually nukes the whole board. Black Rose Dragon, Beals for added power, Cypher and Lord Omega, 2 copies of Zombie Necro Dragon. So, all standard, but really powerful cards. I definitely recommend these, especially that Zombie Necro Dragon. I know it's not too great, but it's still really powerful because it gets a power boost for every zombie monster on the field and in the grave. And plus, it steals zombie monsters once it destroys them in battle. For the side, playing 2 Ghost Reapers. Our only target really is just Firewall Dragon, so that's why I'm only playing it at 2. I found this card was really interesting. It's basically mind control, but to me it's better. Marionette Might, because this thing works on both fiends and zombies. And since, you know, Goki still exists, the whole Nightmare core, except Ibli, is fiend type, and even if Zombie World's not on the field, you can definitely use this, you know, to bait out your Trigate, well, to bait out your opponent's Trigate Wizard, and it's not once per turn, so if you happen to have 2 of these, well, you pretty much know where I'm getting at with that. 2 copies of Red Eye Zombie Dragon, another simple card to bring out, just requires 1 tribute of a zombie monster, or you can just summon it through the effect of Glow Bloom, so that's why, but I prefer to side it out. I don't like to main tech it, but, you know, it's just me. To deal with other search heavy decks, you know, like, once again, Sky Strikers, Shared Ride, or even, well, I wouldn't say Danger FTK is a search-based deck, it just uses a lot of draw strength, but, you know, Shared Ride's just good against those type of decks. Drag Down into the Grave is really good, because, you know, it doesn't really affect you, but the fact that both players have to discard 1 card from each other's hands, I think Drag Down by the Grave is a good side card. Gate card, Anti-Spell Fragrance for anything that's spell-heavy. And there are a lot of spell-heavy decks out there. The only one who just won't work against is Ultra Guys because they're trap-heavy. But still a great option. Maybe I'll pick up Gozen matches eventually, but I'm still trying to debate on that for now. I think Anti-Spell Fragrance is the best one for this. But, yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys again on the next video.